Perhaps you have heard that the Jedi comes to Nar Shaddaa.
Everyone here has been slain, yet there are few signs of battle. No carbon scoring, no blast of fire. This place has been hit by assassins of a different sort.
Then what are we doing on this ship? We were better off in the facility.
I simply use it to give you the illusion of control and obedience.
You two are supposed to be Jedi? You two are the worst Jedi I've ever met.
Observe her, track her, but do not eclipse her movements, or I shall eclipse yours.
His vessel roams the borders of known space, and even I do not know where he travels.
People say killing Jedi is hard. It's not. You just have to be smart about it. There's ways of gassing them, drugging them, making them lose control, torturing them.
Perhaps more amazing that some still trust Jedi after many have fallen and endangered the galaxy.
No game of the jekk'jekk can be won without pawns, and this may prove to be a very long game.
Some years ago, in a place far away, a nerd was very mad about Star Wars. The place was the UK, the date was 2012, and the nerd was the philosopher Mark Fisher. Star Wars was a sellout from the start, and that is just the only remarkable thing about this depressingly mediocre franchise, he says in this almost a decade-old Guardian article. But is this really true? For some people, perhaps, like for the Red Letter Media generation whose psyche was permanently scarred by the prequel trauma. But as a millennial, I frankly can't relate. Ever since I was a kid, Star Wars was a vehicle for video game innovation. There are so many examples. The 1995 Dark Forces was the first ever FPS to feature alternative firing mode for weapons. X-Wing and TIE Fighter games innovated space sims, while the confusingly named X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter was one of the first space shooters designed for large-scale multiplayer. That was in 1997, and Dark Forces 2, released only a few months later, was one of the first FPSs with an actual coherent story. And of course, there is Knights of the Old Republic, a 2003 game by BioWare that would establish a template for RPG design that would remain relevant for more than a decade. And today we'll be taking a look at its sequel, KOTOR 2: The Sith Lords, a BioWarean RPG made by Obsidian, designed by Chris Avellone. The ridiculously short development cycle meant the game was released unfinished and had to be made complete by modders. The Sith Lords Restored Content mod is mandatory, even though I don't agree with all the changes it makes. The familiarity with the first game is not required, and in fact it might be harmful, instilling wrong expectations. KOTOR 2 is divisive. The game's fans would say that it's a brilliant critique of some of the weaker aspects of George Lucas' creation, while the game's detractors claim that, unlike its predecessor, Avalon's project is bland and dull, and it fails to capture the magic of Star Wars. So which one is it? I guess we'll see for ourselves. The gender of the protagonist is the first important choice we'll make that has a significant impact on the story. The canon exile is Mitra Surik, who is a woman and on the light side. I make no promises about the latter. There is a war in space. The Galactic Republic was invaded by the Mandalorian Crusaders. A handful of renegade Jedi ignored the orders of their masters and came to Republic's defense. We were one of these Jedi. During the pivotal battle at Malachor 5, we gave the order to activate the mass shadow generator. The war was won that day as the terrible weapon devastated the Mandalorians, the Republic defenders, and the world of Malachor. As punishment, we were exiled from the Jedi Order, and our ability to use the Force was taken away. The Mandalorian invasion was the first of the series of conflicts that brought the Republic to the brink of disintegration. Led by the triumvirate of enigmatic Sith Lords, the ancient enemy strikes at the feeble remnants of the Jedi Order. And now, after spending a decade in the galactic Outer Rim, the Exile, rumored to be the last of the Jedi, returns back home to the Republic.
Proximity alert.
This is the game's tutorial sequence. Meet T3M4, an astromech droid. Our job is to repair the ship's hyperdrive. T3 is one of the characters borrowed from the first game. Many secrets are safely kept inside that tin can. As an astromech droid, we're equipped to go for a spacewalk and do external repairs. I hope there wasn't anything important in that part of the ship. For an optional sequence most players will skip, this is a nice production. The hyperdrive is fixed. The ship should be able to reach the nearby Peragus mining station, an asteroid installation in the middle of a field of highly flammable space fuel.
What happened on Peragus has set in motion events that I can no longer control. Not to be melodramatic, but I fear it has broken the galaxy irrevocably.
An undetermined amount of time has passed.
Awake.
We are in a medical facility of some sort. Welcome to the Peragus Station, the game's space thriller opening.
If the survivor is a Jedi, that would account for the recovery rate. But I'm more concerned that a Jedi here may cause trouble.
The miners got agitated when they heard about a Jedi supposedly arriving to the station. There is a bounty on Jedi, but there are so few of them left. The facility is mostly operated by droids, but the machines have been acting weird lately. The miners in the other tanks appear to be dead. Let's see what we can find in the morgue. Hey, Chief, you okay? I thought you were a deader for sure.
Find what you're looking for amongst the dead.
Meet Kreia, one of the game's main characters, perhaps the main character.
Your ship was attacked. You were the only survivor. A result of your Jedi training, no doubt.
Another entry in Avalon's repertoire of brutalized older women with an agenda. The game runs on the Odyssey engine, which is an improved version of the Aurora engine used in Neverwinter Nights 1. The environment is a little more detailed, and the third-person perspective is now forced.
Ah, you hear it.
As the exile gains experience levels, she recovers her ability to use the Force. Kreia will be our teacher.
Nice outfit. What, you miners change regulation uniforms while I've been in here?
Atton Rand is the game's Han Solo, imprisoned by the miners for violating some regulation or another. He knows how to operate the console. Looks like we're trapped. Thankfully, we can use the computer to contact this T3 unit stuck somewhere else in the facility. The game loves POV switching, very rare in non-Japanese RPGs for some reason. And here is our ship, fully repaired. After a fairly elaborate side adventure, T3 gets the turbolifts working, but then whoever reprogrammed the droids is still on Peragus.
So, how long have you been a Jedi?
This is an interesting question. Mitra is older than a typical RPG protagonist, roughly 5 years older than Bastila from the first game. We find a miner's uniform and some sort of a primitive headgear in a crate.
Damn it. Good to hear it. No sense in you running around half naked. It's distracting. I mean, for the droids.
The romances in the game are restricted by gender. Atton is a candidate for the woman exile, one of the two.
The central droid controller should be somewhere nearby.
The computer console allows a skilled character to solve many droid-related problems without fighting. But we're not skilled, and I don't want to do that anyway, since, surprisingly, I'm kind of enjoying the encounter design in this game.
Look, you know how big that bounty is? That Jedi's our ticket off this rock.
The miners are conspiring to sell us to the space mafia. It sucks shit to work in Peragus. I think I've seen this guy on one of the holo recordings.
Greeting. It is a pleasure to see you alive, Master, provided my receptors are not off focus.
If you played KOTOR 1, you'd recognize this model.
I am an HK series protocol droid, Master, skilled in transorganic relations and communications.
It appears to be a version of the HK-47 assassin droid, which is strange since it was one of a kind.
And termination of hostilities requires the use of every weapon in one's verbal arsenal.
The psychotic murderous HK droids are among the most memorable characters BioWare ever created and Obsidian iterated on. Let's go for a spacewalk. The animations aren't glitching, they're just sped up. It looks weird.
I lost your signal after you left the mining tunnels. Now you're coming in clear.
Except I'm picking you up on the exterior of the facility.
I have left the world of you station-dwelling pubbies behind.
I don't believe this. There's a ship coming in, sending a docking code. I have a bad feeling about this.
The Harbinger. Darth Sion fought for the Sith Empire, got killed, came back, again and again.
Maybe one of you can tell me what's going on. Because between assassin droids, a Sith Lord that looks like he sleeps with vibroblades, and being target practice for a Republic warship, I was better off in my cell.
The Republic cruiser Harbinger is the reason half of the Ebon Hawk was missing in the prologue. The ship was chasing us for some time. Kreia finally joins the party.
Our enemy is here. We must leave at once.
She's a Force wizard with 2 unique feats. When she casts a buff on herself, we also get the benefits. I take this opportunity to steal her clothing since the miner's uniform just looks ridiculous.
Who's this? Another Jedi? What, did you guys suddenly start breeding when I wasn't looking?
The party limit is 3 people. Most of the time, the companions can be freely swapped outside of combat, useful for skill checks.
Good thing we have a clear run to the ship.
Threat. Master, perhaps I did not enunciate clearly the last time we spoke. I suggested that you should shut down, stay put, and wait for rescue.
I really like this model. I wish we could have kept it. Not the most complex of battles, but I appreciate the devs putting the effort in the encounter design. Once its health bar is depleted, the HK activates a self-destruct sequence. We salvage its vocabulator. Not sure why, but it looks questy. Aten is a space version of a D&D rogue, complete with sneak attack feats. With no way of accessing the Ebon Hawk, we try our luck with the Harbinger.
Everyone here has been slain, yet there are few signs of battle. No carbon scoring, no blast of fire. This place has been hit by assassins of a different sort.
Then what are we doing on this ship? We were better off in the facility. You two are supposed to be Jedi? You two are the worst Jedi I've ever met.
My brother in Christ, I'm literally a war criminal, and Kreia is extremely poorly disguised Sith Lord. The bridge. Imagine the smell. Stealth, infiltration, deception, assassination, the signature tactics of the Sith triumvirate. Our first non-droid battle. The animations are quite good, aren't they? The assassins ambush us several times as we explore the ghost ship, but honestly they're kind of pathetic. Sion must be traveling with a crew of trainees.
We did not have the vessel listed in our databanks, so we transmitted the code to you. Was there a match?
There was, Captain. If you find any trace of that vessel, even wreckage, I want it.
Yes, sir.
This is Karth, a companion from KOTOR 1. The reason he's interested in the ship is because Karth was its pilot many years ago.
I have a bad feeling about this.
We better save our game.
I came to warn you, Jedi. You know not what path you walk.
He cannot kill what he cannot see, and power has blinded him long ago. Run! I shall be along shortly.
Having spent my childhood playing Star Wars games, I have a soft spot for utilitarian-looking sci-fi corridors like this one.
Tell me you're joking. We are not going to cross back into the Peragus facility through the fuel line.
The protagonist and her team of misfits are about to hijack the repaired Ebon Hawk and leave Peragus. But before we go, there is someone I want you to meet. KOTOR 2 reacts to our Force ideology choices in interesting ways. The light side and the dark side playthroughs are a little different. Punished Mitra, a dark side Jedi markswoman, is here to showcase some of these differences. To compensate for a suboptimal build, I gave her extra equipment and stat points, using a character editor. We'll be seeing her again.
I sense you, my master. Faint, weak.
Your senses betray you, as you betrayed me.
After all that's happened, still you live. You are difficult to kill.
For one as limited as you, perhaps. To have fallen so far and learned nothing, that is your failing.
And now you run in search of the Jedi. They are all dead, save one, and one broken Jedi cannot stop the darkness that is to come.
He cut off Kreia's hand.
What's wrong? Are you all right?
What happened was a force bond. When she feels pain, so do we. The bond narratively attaches us to Kreia. The truth is, we don't really know her, and we have little reason to trust her. The T3 unit, previously incapacitated by HK, finally joins our party. Peragus is a fine adventure. We met intriguing characters and started several plot arcs, but the experience is ultimately linear and it takes way too long. Even if you know what you're doing, it will take you a whole evening to complete. Perhaps not the best design for a game that is supposed to be replayable. Peragus also demonstrates the game's main weak point. It's not that it's buggy, it's actually mostly not, thanks to a decade and a half of fan-made improvements, achievements. For the same reason, the game's no longer unfinished. The plot arcs don't end abruptly. The biggest casualty of the rushed development ended up being aesthetics. The game is ugly as sin. It looks notably worse than KOTOR 1. Lighting, environmental objects, it's like it's missing a layer of detail, and unfortunately it will not get better. This is not something the restored content mod can bring back, because these things never existed to begin with. Not the most convincing demonstration, I admit, but the disabled droid force power is one of the most useful ones in the game. Tons of robots in KOTOR 2.
This door's magnetically sealed. I can't believe this. The ship's right out there and we can't get to it.
T3 can get us past the door.
How can you even understand that noise?
I can't, I'm just guessing. This isn't a hard game, you don't have to min-max anything, but on the hardest difficulty it's just challenging enough so that you have to pay attention to your equipment and feat choices. The freighter, the Ebon Hawk, is gonna be our home until the very end of the game.
Let's give the laser turret a workout.
A surprise turret shooting section. These guys are Sith troopers. The silver armor is what they used to wear in the original game. If any of them get through, we'll have to fight them inside the ship. Kreia is back.
There is no time. We must leave.
The peragus rocks are floating bombs. Eventually they'll hit the wrong one and the entire field will explode. The mining facility sequence ends with a big and kind of a meaningless choice. Do we shoot the rocks or not?
That'll take out the whole field, the colony, and maybe us.
Then we die here. Choose now.
I say we do it. The station is deserted. The blast might take out a Sith Lord.
Hold on. This is gonna get a little rocky.
Be silent. We're having a conversation here.
T3 is saying he was the one who repaired the ship and got us to Peragus, the events of the prologue.
Repaired this ship, my eye. Next thing you know, it's gonna claim credit for saving our skins.
Kreia suggests the Sith are after us because that's what the Sith do.
Once you are dead, then they have won.
We are going to Telos 4, a strategically located planet on the edge of Republic space.
There were plenty of times back on Peragus where a lightsaber would have been helpful. So where's yours?
It's kind of pathetic that we had to fight robots with a metal sword.
Were you a single hilt or one of those double-bladed Jedi?
This sequence is not just small talk. The game is generating an item we'll obtain later. Welcome to the Citadel Station, a city in the sky above the destroyed world of Telos 4.
I'm under orders to take you into custody in regards to the destruction of the Peragus mining facility.
We escaped from one metal cage only to end up in another.
Tell me I'm not going to jail again.
The Peragus asteroid field was the source of fuel for the Citadel Station. The Republic's efforts to restore the planet are now at risk.
So this is the last of the Jedi. I must admit, I'm a little disappointed.
We know that the Exchange, the space mafia organization, put a bounty on Jedi. The bounty is on live Jedi, by the way. That's why the HK unit killed everyone but us. The cops are embarrassed they allowed a hired killer to infiltrate their ranks. We are moved to a residential area and put under house arrest. This is the introduction to the primary conflict on the Citadel Station, a conflict between ethical but financially illiterate alien ecologists and a corrupt corporate entity that hopped on the restoration wagon in order to leech off Republic funding. The Zerka Corps is obviously a villain here, but the Thorians are just so boring. That's much worse than being a villain. While we were in prison, someone stole our ship and flew it to the planet below. We are stuck on the station for now.
I knew it! That stupid T3 unit stole our ship. It's probably joyriding through the system right now, laughing at us. Laughing at me.
This is the first city-type location we'll explore. Side quests, conversations, traders. This alien weirdo has a monocle. There are two types of minigames in KOTOR 2. Swoop racing is less about reflexes and more about route memorization. It's fun enough. The card game is called Pazak, and, well, Aton plays it. I'm not qualified to comment on card game mechanics. Some quests have minigame solutions, like it's possible to win a Twi'lek dancer in a game of Pazak. There is a synergy between the Jedi powers and conventional gunnery, as demonstrated by Punished Mitra. We kidnap and reprogram a Zerka protocol droid and use it to access the corporate mainframe. The droid enters into a criminal conspiracy with a T1 unit who wasn't even reprogrammed, he just hates working here. We escape with the stolen files. The grateful Ithorians put us in contact with one of their engineers working on the planet below. Maybe he can help us locate our ship. Until we do, we have permission to use their shuttle.
You're welcome, Kreia. You know, if I weren't such a crack pilot, we could have hit the shield wall or one of those rock faces.
Yes, our current situation is a vast improvement.
Grab onto something. This is about to get rough real fast.
Good to have you back, General.
The engineer is an Iridonian named Bawadur, an old friend. We served Revan together.
We all went through some tough times after Malachor, and maybe we all did a little forgetting.
The shuttle was shut down by Zerka mercs. They'll still shoot you down, even if you sided with the corporation back on the station. These problems aside, it feels nice to not be trapped in a space station anymore. Bawadur is a tech specialist, very good at creating items at a workbench. He also comes with a little companion of his own, the tiny flying remote. The combat difficulty noticeably increases, but this is offset by us making rational build choices. Force speed is one of the better buffs, kind of like the haste spell from D&D. The disabled droid power allows us to detonate the mines remotely. That's the turret that shut us down.
It looks like power is being drawn to generate a shield over a small area in the polar region.
His voice is so soothing. Whoever hijacked the Ibn Hawk took it to the planet's polar region. Hopefully we'll find alternative means of transportation within the facility, like this thing.
I'm
sorry, what? Can anyone understand him? After we help the lost Zerka employee back to the entrance, Kreia interjects, complaining we don't adhere to the ideals of galactic social Darwinism or some such thing.
You stole that struggle from them.
The guy kept getting stuck in geometry, and I feel the entire thing was a lesson of horrors of the early 2000s RPG AI. Didn't even get XP for my troubles. KOTOR 2 is remembered for its characters and story, but I keep getting pleasantly surprised by just how good the encounter design is. We took a ship to get to a planet to take a ship to get to our ship.
We have arrived too late. The target has evaded us. We must pursue it.
The HK arc isn't over, it seems.
It is a place hidden from the galaxy like the Academy on Dantooine. But this place... Oh, Atris, you have been clever.
You've got to be kidding me. It's not my fault.
So there are many assassin droids of this type working in concert to collect the bounty placed on Jedi by the exchange. We get another HK part from the remnants. The secret Jedi Academy on Telos was established shortly after the Sith bombarded the surface of the planet. The calculation was that they won't destroy the same world twice.
Lay down your weapons, and you shall not be harmed.
The Echani are matriarchal warrior people with pale white skin.
Well, the sooner we're out of here, the better. 2 crazy Jedi are more than enough for me. No one told me we were going to be dumped in a nest of Jedi.
And what is it about this place that causes you such fear?
What are you doing? Get out of my head!
It's an Avalon game, so everyone has a dark secret.
Do not worry, Aton. If she is a Jedi, she will forgive. And if she is not, she will not care.
You can't tell her.
Aton didn't really have any reason to stick around. Now he does.
Why a vicious old scowl like yourself would even bother with me is a bigger mystery.
No game of jekk'jekk can be won without pawns, and this may prove to be a very long game.
More or Jedi speak. Care to explain?
No. I've wasted enough time with you. Sleep, murderer, and be silent. I need no distractions. A critical moment approaches.
Atris is a Jedi Master, another friend of ours from the old days.
I did not expect to see you again after the day of your sentencing. I thought you had taken the Exile's path, wandering the galaxy.
We returned to the Republic because the Republic needed our aid. We are here on Telos because a pretentious shaddaa stole our ship.
Your ship? Ah, the Ebon Hawk. It is not your ship. Unless you're admitting to the destruction of the peragus mining facility.
You're admitting? We're not on trial here.
The other rim worlds devastated by the Sith will remain graveyard worlds, devoid of life.
It's like that one time when your shitty council abandoned the Outer Rim to the Mandalorians. Can't say I feel the burden of guilt for peragus. The Sith came after us, mistakenly believing Mitra to be the last Jedi. Atris says we should take our ship and leave before we endanger the secrecy of this place.
She will never make me doubt myself again. But now I am tired and I must meditate.
Of course, mistress. I will tell the others you are not to be disturbed.
Love this shot. Appropriately cinematic. Sith holocrons. For punished Mitra, this conversation ended with Atris mocking us by unshelving our old lightsaber. The idea that the bad guy Jedi are restricted to red lightsabers was something established in the prequels. In the 1997 FPS Dark Forces 2, the evil Jedi had all kinds of colorful laser swords. The Achani sisters are not Jedi in training. They are forbidden to use the Force, even if they are Force sensitive. Atris has a reason to suspect the hidden enemy can somehow detect Force users from great distances. Unarmed combat isn't really a viable playstyle, but one can get an impression that at one point of the development it was intended to be.
Hey, do all these women look alike? Not like I'm complaining, I mean, it's interesting.
They are Ichani. It is not unusual for their children to share similar features from the same parents.
It's also not unusual for non-Ichani. If we were playing a male exile, one of the sisters would join our party. Women get a different companion. Look who is back.
Well, if it isn't the one who stole the Ebon Hawk. Not so smug now, are you little thief?
Don't be a fool. Atris stole the ship and the droid.
Says you.
T3 downloaded important information from the Academy memory banks. Info about the possible locations of other Jedi Masters. Goodbye, Telos.
Just give me your opinion, okay? And don't laugh.
I'm trying to work here, Atten.
I was just wondering if you thought maybe she and I might...
You're being serious.
Well, now that we're off that Dejaric board of a planet, I say we burn sky until we see lines.
T3 says there is a recording of our trial in Atris records.
Her teachings violated the Jedi Code and lead all who listen to the dark side, as they did the Exile.
You are wrong. The dark side is not what I sensed in the Exile.
Until now, we were under the impression that Jedi stripped us of our Force powers as punishment. Rebuilding our lightsaber is a priority task. Our class has unique feats that don't work without a laser sword.
Even if I didn't have to go first and somehow I didn't suspect you of counting cards, I still wouldn't play with a trash compactor.
These little social situations are the reason KOTOR 2 is Avalon's best game. The other candidate is, of course, Planescape Torment, but the characters in that game feel like concepts rather than real people. Well, hello. That's HK-47, another returning companion from KOTOR 1. Once we collect enough HK parts, we can reassemble him. The ship will be populated with followers as we progress through the game.
What do you wish to hear? That I once believed in the code of the Jedi? That I felt the call of the Sith? That perhaps once I held the galaxy by its throat?
In plain sight. If we insist on learning more of our teacher's backstory, she is surprisingly forthcoming with the information.
There are dark places in the galaxy where few tread, ancient centers of learning, of knowledge.
Kreia was the one who found them. She trained both of them, reformed the broken Sith remnant into the Force that defeated the Jedi.
There were disagreements, ambition, and hunger for power. techniques within the Force against which there is no defense. I was cast down, stripped of my power, exiled. I suffered indignities and fell into darkness.
We are lucky to have this woman as our teacher. This is the end of Act 1. The game finally opens up. We have many destinations to choose from, all designated as potential Jedi hiding places in Atris' database. Dantooine was an important Jedi training facility before the war. The Ravager. Visas Mar.
I felt it too, my lord. A disturbance in the Force.
Darth Nihilus. This scene triggers once the exile reaches a certain experience level.
Do you feel it is a... You are the darkness in which all life dies, my lord.
Perhaps Atris wasn't being paranoid. We have been detected.
I will leave at once, my lord.
We should expect company.
At its core, one must wonder if it was the failure of the Jedi teachings or the teachers themselves.
There are two kinds of people who come to Dantooine, salvagers and mercenaries. Ever since the Jedi Enclave was bombed during the war, the community has been in decline. This guy is a droid merchant. And guess what? He has an HK chassis for sale. We should go back to the ship and see if the part is compatible. Where is everyone? Our first lightsaber fight. Well, she has one anyway. Conventional melee weapons can deflect lightsaber strikes just fine, as it turns out.
I yield, Master.
Miraluka is a species of blind human-like individuals who see through the Force. The first Miraluka in Space Wars was Jekk'jekk from Dark Forces 2.
They had a colony on the Mid-Rim, almost halfway between Onderon and Dantooine. Then, it wasn't there anymore. The whole planet was wiped out. No one knows why.
Looks like she was already carrying her share of scars, though. I think she'll recover, yeah.
Once she does, she'll be a follower, and we scavenged a part of her lightsaber. Let's go spelunking.
Your thoughts are disturbed. I can feel them from a great distance.
Kreia, you're standing right next to me. Maybe she really is blind. The crystal is named after us. What this means mechanically is that the lightsaber upgraded with this crystal will scale in power as we gain levels. I think this admin building was in Quarter 1, but I might be misremembering.
My cousin's friend, he used to tend the gardens around the Enclave. He swears he saw a Jedi in Kunda.
They don't mean us. The reason we are on Dantooine is because, according to Atris data, Master What's-His-Face is supposedly hiding here. People come to loot the Jedi garbage in the ruins of the Enclave. That's the Dantooine economy.
You're the owner of the, ship that just landed?
This ain't the first time the Ebon Hawk lands on this world, and we are not the ship's first crew. The Jedi are not popular with the locals, who blame them for the crisis on Dantooine, but the administrator says she won't rat us out.
Who are we missing? We're one off.
We're missing Joran. I don't see Joran.
Teams of scavengers are making stalker-like expeditions into the ruins. What makes this place so dangerous? The bug monsters? Whatever. In the ruins, we meet another gender-locked companion. Mikal, the disciple.
The fool dances in your shadow for your favor. The disciple, he worships you quietly. The alien obeys you. Even within the machines, there are echoes. Watch them carefully.
But the reason the Jedi Civil War was named such was because few in the galaxy can recognize the difference between the Sith and the Jedi. To them, they are both Jedi. with different philosophies.
He is a diplomat for the Republic, not a Force user, at least not yet.
Many of the Jedi Council trained Exar Kun, Ulik, Revan, and Malak. How could they not see the danger they posed?
Mikal is a patriot. He considers the Jedi to be a central part of the culture, of the identity of the Republic.
Look, we're already full up. We don't need anyone else.
There is some tension between the two potential romantic interests. We lose influence with Aten. High influence pushes the companion towards our Force ideology and unlocks more of their story. Exploring the companions is an important part of the KOTOR 2 experience, so we should take influence maxing seriously. There is no benefit for having low influence as far as I know. The disciple starts as a light side soldier, but as we get to know him better, he'll acquire a very different sort of skill set. A bunch of dead mercenaries evidently killed by a lightsaber.
Many stories and artifacts in your possession?
Oh wow, I want this weapon. He didn't drop it, but we got a lightsaber component while exploring the ruins. I wonder if we have all the required parts yet.
That's everything. Now all you need is a little quiet time with the workbench.
It's purple. We'll pick a different color later. The game has a moderately complex crafting system, and the lightsaber customization is especially nuanced. I'm using a one-handed sword for aesthetics. It's actually strictly inferior to other options. Mikal is a historian. As a kid, he was training to become a Jedi here in Dantooine Enclave. We were his instructor. It was a long time ago. Mitra didn't recognize him because he's no longer a child.
And the Jedi Masters proclaimed that you were Jedi no longer. Atris, the mistress of the archives, was first among them. I knew at that moment that if you would no longer be a Jedi, then you must be correct.
When we left for Malachor, his training was aborted prematurely. It's always beneficial to talk to Kreia. She's our teacher, and this is the today's lesson.
Close your eyes. Feel this ship around you. The welding of the droid as it goes about its work. The hum of the hyperdrive. The breathing of the blinded one as she meditates in the dark.
As my feet walk from the ashes of Kata, I shall not fear. For in fear lies death.
The mercenaries somehow caught Master Rook.
Unless you want to wind up dead, leave now.
Obviously, the Jedi mind trick is a thing in this game.
What? That's a Jedi trick. We trained against that during the war.
Uh-oh. Oh, whatever. The jump is our class special ability. It's not super useful, but it looks cool, and that matters, okay?
After I was captured, they talked freely of their plans.
He got captured on purpose, you see.
They hoped that perhaps among our people, they could achieve the clarity to see what was striking them from the darkness of the galaxy. They succeeded, but only in bringing him from the outer regions.
There are clearly different kinds of dark side praxis. Nicholas doesn't sound like an angsty teenager, which appears to be a default type of Sith. We can see the structure of the Triumvirate. Kreia was the one who devised the strategy to defeat the Jedi. Nicholas hunted them like a hound, and Sion delivered the killing blow.
You are the Jedi I've heard reports of, and I am Azkul, leader of the mercenaries on Dantooine.
Role-play games are supposed to have choices and consequences, or so I've been told. But why would anyone side with the mercs? We have no history with them. They don't stand for anything. The planetary administration is about to get attacked by bad guys. We have to set up defenses, manually place militia squads, repair the turrets. It's all fairly complex. Inspiring the troops via a speech check. Even a fighter-type character can use offensive force powers to great effect.
You are the only one to come back and face judgment.
The Jedi are hiding until they learn the nature of their Sith enemy, he says. Until that happens, they're hidden even from each other. But once the enemy reveals themselves, the Jedi are to reassemble here on Dantooine.
Now watch and learn. This form is a Taru.
We didn't get all the answers, but Vrook is not completely useless.
I don't know how you learned that so quickly. Still, your form is sloppy. Keep practicing to tighten it up and you'll be fine.
The parallel reality Dark Mitra sabotaged the turrets, helping the mercenaries take over the planetary administration.
Your machinations end here, outcast.
This seems to be a more appropriate finale for the Dantooine chapter.
He is using the tarr in aggressive form.
Kreia helps us understand Vrook's sword fighting technique.
You think you can learn my technique just by watching me? It takes a Jedi Master years to perfect it.
The killing of Vrook sequence is more involved and interesting than the light side alternative.
It's not possible.
Be afraid. The Jedi Master Duels are some of the hardest battles in the game. You need to be ready for them, and even then I had to save scum. Chris Avalon really just writes the same game over and over again. I can respect that. Good ideas are hard to let go.
It is of the dark side, the ability to feed on life.
No, see, it's the Akachi curse from Mask of the Betrayer. The game just as good as KOTOR 2.
And another thing, stop being all noble around her in your big hero way. She sees right through your little act. She likes honest guys.
The dark side Mitra has more intense orbiters. Which one to pick? I don't know. Hopefully the locals will no longer blame the Jedi for their troubles, even though that would not be wrong.
Unnecessary observation. Targets acquired.
Oh, it's you guys.
Failing, Master.
The trip to Dantooine was worth it. We built a lightsaber and got the final HK component.
Am I all right? Oh, yes, Master. Why, I am fine.
HK gets very annoyed once he discovers he is no longer unique. He lost his memory core. That's the game's excuse to have us level him up again. A combat droid is a ranged fighter type of character with special assassin droid type perks. I didn't realize this at first, but Mikal doesn't even know she's on the ship. This makes sense. He's a historian. Might reveal something Kreia doesn't want us to know yet.
This is Ronto Scrag. What house rule says I have to go first? Yeah, well, I'm still not convinced you aren't cheating.
Warning, if you draw another +/-1 card, I will enact assassination protocols.
This droid is cleaning me out.
Deal me in, guys.
Welcome to Nar Shaddaa. Towering buildings kilometers high and miles deep, with canyons so wide you could have a dogfight in them.
An easy place to get lost in, or for someone to get lost. Welcome to the evil Coruscant. The space yacht belongs to Goto, the boss of the Exchange, the galactic criminal network. It wouldn't be a proper Star Wars RPG without a bounty hunter chapter. The insectoid Gand, Hanar the Mad Wookiee, the twin sons, the assassin sisters, the familiar HK droids.
Perhaps you have heard that the Jedi comes to Nar Shaddaa. Observe her, track her, but do not eclipse her movements, or I shall eclipse yours.
Nar Shaddaa is a destination for people fleeing conflict, refugees, ex-soldiers from the Jedi Wars, deserters.
You there!
Uh-oh.
What's with you? Letting that piece of junk sink its struts into my landing pad.
The ship will be fine where it is.
It'll be fine where it is. Yeah, I guess you're right. And by right, I mean you're wrong.
Does Force Persuade ever work in this game? Is it like antibiotics? The Jedi used it too much, so everyone is resistant to it. Humans seem to be the dominant species in Star Wars, but not on Nar Shaddaa.
Can you spare a few credits?
Sure.
Why did you do such a thing? Such kindnesses will mean nothing. His path is set. By giving him something he has not earned, perhaps all you have helped him become is a target.
It's just $5, Kreia, barely enough to buy food. Give me your $5. This is very contrived.
And perhaps in the end, all you have wrought is more pain.
OMG, so true. By giving this guy bread money, we interfered with a delicate power balance in the refugee community. You imbecile, you moron.
It's the Ebon Hawk, isn't it? She was stolen from me during a routine run in the mid-rim.
This guy claims the Ebon Hawk belongs to him. If true, he was the owner even before Revan.
She's also got 2 secret compartments, one in the cargo hold, right near the plasteel cylinders in the back, and the second beneath the bunks in the starboard cabin.
Huh, I didn't even know about that. Alright, fine, take the ship. I'll just live here on Nar Shaddaa, I guess. I'm calling the game's bluff. Voga the Hutt is looking for human dancers to entertain him. The visor stays on. Stealth quests are a little-known feature of KOTOR 2. Here we can eavesdrop on 2 thugs discussing how to break into the Hutt's vault.
Well, the signs are starting to show. You don't look like you've slept in weeks. Or a year.
Atten, I'm fine. This is the effect the dark side has on our character. It's like you combine DNP and an illegal diuretic. Mass Effect 2 had a similar mechanic.
The Jedi, the Sith. You don't get it, do you? To the galaxy, they're the same thing. Just men and women with too much power, squabbling over religion while the rest of us burn.
Atton came to the smuggler's moon many years ago, pretending to be a refugee, says this person. But he was no refugee. He was a soldier, and not a good kind. As our influence with them grows, this skin pathology will be impacting our followers.
Is this an interrogation? If so, you're terrible at it, especially for an ex-Jedi. Or whatever you are.
Atton gets very defensive.
You know what? Not once have I asked you about the Mandalorian Wars. Not once. I heard about Duxon. Everyone has. I heard about Serico, and I sure as hell know about Malachor 5.
The weapon we unleashed at Malachor destroyed both the Mandalorians and the Republic defenders.
The Jedi are pacifists, except in times of war. They're teachers, except when it comes to telling their students the truth.
Atton was a soldier for Revan's Sith.
Most Jedi awareness doesn't cruise beyond the surface feelings.
He is trained in Sith techniques, crude pre-triumvirate Sith techniques. Atton is Force-sensitive. We're gonna be his teacher. His character class changes to Jedi Sentinel.
Come act! Here so soon?
Our ship is about to get boarded.
It's good to be back on the old girl. Hey, what are you doing on my ship?
It's both the best and the worst day in this guy's life. The dark side characters have an option to enslave the alien slavers. Do you get it? It's not a babyware game anymore.
Why are you here?
Because I told her everything.
Ah, and now you are free. Did you ever think I truly held you? You're more of a fool than I thought.
Our followers engaging in complex social interactions without the main character being around. I love this in Avalon's games. The crime lord Whiskwis invites us to jekk'jekk tarr, an alien cantina with an atmosphere toxic to humans, both figuratively and literally.
Well, good thing it's not a trap.
No, Atton. I think it may be a trap.
Good eyes, Hanhar. No wonder you're still number 2 on Nar Shaddaa.
Silver. Yeah, that's my color.
I thought you Jedi were supposed to be smart, and here you are running around Nar Shaddaa sticking your lightsaber into everyone's...
The story is intensifying. The game will be switching between characters several times in quick succession.
The bounty hunter truce is off. That means things are gonna get real ugly real quick.
Mira, the ex-Mandalorian crusader turned bounty hunter.
I think your friends are the ones in trouble.
A few drinks to keep me on my toes, a few games of Pazak to keep the mind alert.
It's important to make sure your companions always have the best possible equipment upgrades. You never know when you're gonna need them. The twin sons, Twi'lek sisters who killed their master and developed a taste for it. Pro tip, spam the inventory key before the battle starts and make Atton eat one of each buff consumables you collected. Depending on the difficulty, this fight can be very challenging.
To be in a place where one drowns in the Force. Why would a Jedi wish that?
A simple question, to which I ask another. Why should a Jedi want to hide?
The Zhug brothers are bounty hunters of the Duros species.
Anybody here catch that? All I understood was very.
I think he wanted us to give up the general to his poorly trained collection of bounty hunters.
Ah, well, that would explain it. Which one do you want?
I'll take the stupid one, who decided to threaten us rather than shoot us when he had the chance.
With all these POV switches and new characters being introduced, it can be hard to keep track of individual motivations. Mira correctly assumes that the slug wants to deliver us to Goto, cutting the bounty hunters out of the loop.
I upped the dosage in case you had some Jedi training to resist poisons.
So she disables us, and then goes to the alien cantina to confront Whiskas herself. I have no idea why this is important for her. Mira is a scout, and she gets special perks for ranged weapons. We can explore the place and socialize with the goofy aliens. Different sections of the canteen are populated with different species. Whiskas' private chamber. Goto has his eyes and ears everywhere on Nar Shaddaa. He sees and hears everything via unknown means, except for what's going on in jekk'jekk tarr. This was discovered by accident.
You signed on with Boga the Hutt? Visquous, you're dumber than I thought.
So the canteen became a gathering place for conspirators seeking to overthrow Goto. Now they wait for the Jedi to walk into the same trap Mira just did.
When I first heard you were on Nar Shaddaa, I didn't quite believe it. I didn't think anyone could track me here. I've watched you as you have traveled the refugee sector. I've seen what you have done, what I refused to do.
That's a fantastic mustache. Must have taken forever to cultivate. Is that what you were doing here all this time? The stupid Jedi came alone, and without the environmental suit. We are never alone.
It is an old technique similar to the healing trance.
Whisquis announces to the clientele that the Jedi has come. Hanhar is skeptical of their chances. And he is right, they are free XP. Except for these Gand assholes, if they swarm you, you're dead. No amount of Jedi fuckery will save you. Unless it's really high-octane Jedi fuckery, like a Sith sorcerer casting Force Lightning. The secret underground facility is protected by a cadre of Jedi-phobic Ubasian warriors. Funny, it's an underground lair on top of a space skyscraper. I have a gift for you, Hanar, he says. Two rival bounty hunters cage match. One of Mira's gimmicks is the wrist-mounted launcher that can fire grenades and special dart projectiles. She dispatched Hanar with commendable efficiency. The squid is surprised. Kreia then sneaks into the facility and reawakens the psychotic Wookiee.
I have saved your life, beast. That makes it mine.
No game of Dejarik can be won without pawns. In the dark side playthroughs, you get to control Hanar instead. He's a berserker brute with a unique Wookiee rage ability. There is no trick to this creature, he is just very strong and has a generous HP buffer. Whisquis betrays him, naturally. That's not stopping anyone. Hanar is the reason one might want to collect all the non-lightsaber melee weapons. Friends, I have tragic news. In order to install the restored content mod, all you need to do is to go to the Steam Workshop, find the mod, and press subscribe. It's impossible to fuck this up. I fucked it up. One of my playthroughs got corrupted. There cannot be two skies. The light side Mitra didn't make it out of jekk'jekk tarr. This is the first change made by the restored content mod that I didn't like. Nar Shaddaa is too long and needlessly complex as it is. It requires trimming, not restoration. It certainly doesn't need more filler combat sequences. This actually made the game a little worse. KOTOR 2 content removal mod, please. The squid lured us into a trap. The plan is to disable the exile with poison gas. Again. The smuggler's moon, dumbest crime lord. Surely the Ubasians will take us out. We've only killed like 30 of them so far.
While the Jedi remains on Nar Shaddaa, my eyes shall watch her.
They were never loyal to you.
Enough.
Turns out Goto could, in fact, observe what was happening in jekk'jekk tarr.
What an amusing Jedi specimen you are. Bazak bores me. I often suspect my opponent of cheating. I prefer predictable games, such as Galactic Economics.
The Restoration mod keeps adding these garbage tier filler sequences where we have to endure bad writing and kill trash mobs. Just terrible. Perhaps the combat will improve once we get to Goto's ship.
I was expecting someone taller.
A fun plot twist. Goto actually wants to save the Republic. A patriot like Mikal.
In one standard month, the Republic will collapse. Not due to war or secession, but because it lacks the infrastructure to support itself.
He was searching for the Jedi even before Peragus. In fact, his machinations ended up indirectly causing the Peragus crisis.
You misunderstand me. I do not wish to stop the Sith any more than I wish to stop the Jedi. It is simply important to me that the infighting amongst these Jedi religious branches be resolved.
Now this is extremely red-pilled. He has very low opinion of the whole Force abracadabra. What does the Force do really? What can be achieved by the Force that one can't do with more stable forms of technology?
It is the proximity alarm. We are under attack. Somehow, your allies have found you.
A two-person boarding party must explore Goto's yacht and rescue Mitra. This is a pretty fun puzzle dungeon. Kind of bland-looking, but the assets here are not used anywhere else. The disabled droid and Force storm powers are highly recommended for this. Not sure if I like the new dress code. That's the sound of the yacht's cloaking device being turned off.
Ah, what remains of the bounty hunters have found me.
Kavadumpe Masuraku?
Run? I didn't run from you two shaddaas last time. And this time, I'm gonna make sure you stay down.
What exactly is a shaddaa? I used that word a number of times without knowing its meaning. I mean, I get it, it's like Twi'lek for bitch. I'm sorry, what? Speak American.
If you thought to escape my notice so easily, you would be wrong.
Goto, or Goto, joins our party.
As a token of my goodwill, I present to you a gift, this droid.
He holds no grudges.
Your lightsaber, give it to me.
I shall die before it passes from my hands.
Your lightsaber, give it to me.
I don't want to leave you with a false impression that all restored sequences are terrible. If certain conditions are met, Kreia can teach Mitra the nuances of lightsaber combat, Visas being the sparring partner. We have to defeat her with a single weapon, then while dual wielding, and then without weapons. Pretty cool. There is one last thing for us to do before we leave Nar Shaddaa. I want to prevent the Jedi Order from building power again. This guy looks like he should be doing YouTube masculinity grift.
You have him on the defensive. He uses the sheen form. Study his movements carefully.
Deadlift, the keystone of the arc of a man's strength. No hard feelings, mustache. Goodbye forever, Smuggler's Moon.
I was at Malachor 5, and I remember how many Jedi died to stop us there. And no matter how many dead orbit that planet, the Mandalorians still live.
Stuck in space traffic. Fantastic.
The Ebon Hawk. I don't know your business on Onderon, but it ends here.
The Old Republic aesthetic feels like a hybrid between the original trilogy and the prequels. I like it. Aten hides the ship on the jungle moon orbiting the world of Onderon. Not our original destination, but after Nar Shaddaa I can use a change of scenery. This is Dantooine, the world where the Mandalorian Wars began, decades ago. Neverwinter 1 was the only game in this engine that managed to do forests semi-convincingly. Hey, it's our old friends, the bounty hunter idiots.
Hold it right there.
The Mandalorians are still here, a remnant. There is a full-fledged military base hidden in the jungle. You can tell this guy is gonna be a companion because his character model is more detailed.
I am Mandalore, leader of the Mandalorians.
That's easy to remember.
This used to be the heart of the Mandalorian war effort. From this complex we commanded an armada that had the Republic on the run. It didn't last.
Yeah, rip. Mandalore has a shuttle that can take us to Onderon, which is where we want to go since this is where the Jedi is hiding. But he wants us to do side quests around the camp and grind a bunch of rep. Content idea. A review of all arena sequences in millennial RPGs. Scattered around the jungle are these old Mandalorian supply caches full of robots and weapons.
Don't pretend to understand us. We Mandalorians are a breed apart.
The Mandalorians are a multi-species ethnicity, defined by a common language, ethics, and creed.
See Kex there? He was serving on Nar Shaddaa as muscle for the Hutts. Kelborn was a scout for the Duros on Frontier Worlds. I brought them here, gave them a purpose.
Mandalore is another returning companion. Before leaving for the unknown regions, Revan instructed him to restore the Mandalorians, but he didn't say why.
Why he gave you your orders, then abandoned you at the edge of the galaxy.
How do you know that? Forget the Jedi. Keep your eyes on her. Mandalorians, we've got company. Stealth targets have breached our perimeter.
The assassins tracked us to this place, but they absolutely fucked with the wrong ones and got taken to school. We board a shuttle to Onderon. Mandalore is coming with us. Love the transitions. It's like turning the pages of a book.
Kavar, the famed Jedi Guardian. The Mandalorians counted on the fact it would be you, not Revan, who would lead the Jedi against us during the Mandalorian Wars.
The only inhabited settlement on the planet is the walled city of Isis. This version of the place from the Tales of the Jedi comic I like a little better, but there is only so much you can do with the Neverwinter 1 engine. Master Kavar is the advisor for the Queen of Onderon. The Queen is engaged in a political struggle with a popular military general. Mandalore is of a soldier class with some ranged weapon perks. He is not force sensitive and can't be indoctrinated into Jedi-ism.
The Republic is weak and falling apart. It's Jedi whose fallen brethren have brought such misery to...
I imagine Goto wants Onderon to remain in the Republic. The main side activity on Onderon is acquiring and distributing starport visas. Can't leave the planet without one, and many people want to. Traders, refugees, Republic spies, criminals. There are moral choices to be made, but at this stage of the adventure it feels a little beneath us. How come all the space crime bosses are of this species? We jumped through some hoops and arranged a meeting with Master Kavar.
I thought you were killed fighting Malak during the Jedi Civil War.
I don't know what the fuck with the audio mixing.
Imagine my delight to discover you were on Isis. Quite careless, if you ask me.
Who are you again? The cops failed to arrest us, but it's dangerous to remain in Isis, isolated from the rest of our group. We should leave before things deteriorate further.
You know what to do.
Yeah, this is nature's way of telling us that we shouldn't remain on Onderon. Mandalore wants to stay with Mitra and look for stray Mandalorian clans. The officer in charge of the base on Dantooine will contact us once the Onderon situation changes. We'll be back. More lessons from Kreia.
Strip away the metal and see the souls and minds of those that fill its corridors.
As my feet walk from the ashes of Qatar.
If I up the Dubana gas levels in the carbine, that would be enough to punch a hole even in triple durasteel.
How could the Jedi leave the Republic? Is it possible that they...
Switch the face of the +1 -1 card. The totals are 9-10. Switch the face of the +2 -2 card. The total is 8-11.
Your command echoes still, General, and I obey, as I did at Malachor.
An alien mind is hard to read. It is as if Bao-Dur is talking to us in his thoughts. And what's up with Aten?
At times, he will list off engine sequencers, memorize the hyperspace routes on the other side of the galaxy, count the ticking in the power couplings, even though they are fixed. At other times, he will imagine certain base lusts, certain indignities.
One of my favorite scenes. Aten knows the Jedi can read thoughts, so he intentionally fills his mind with garbage. And then, just to mess with Kreia, he imagines grotesque space sex.
It may be Aten is far cleverer than he feigns to be. Or perhaps he is simply a fool.
The Aten mindset. Time to depart.
I have studied you, immersed myself in you. I know the paths you walked in exile. I know your teacher.
Korriban is the ancient Egypt for the Sith, but the tombs, the holocrons, the treasures within, all of that was looted by robbers years ago. HK has visited Korriban before. He doesn't seem to have a high opinion of the companions from the first game.
A collection of tortured individuals that seemed unable to confront their basic personality conflicts. Mockery.
Oh, Master, I love you, but I hate all you stand for. But I think we should go press our slimy, mucus-covered lips together in the cargo hold.
If we loot the bodies, we get attacked by very dumb-looking Force dinosaur ghosts. He is here.
She is here.
This place used to be a quest hub in KOTOR 1, one of the more memorable ones. Through this computer console, we learned the Sith code. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The person who wrote this will also sell you carnivore diet PDFs. Actually, who wrote this? The Code of the Sith was originally created by David Gator, who wrote the Korriban segment of the 2000 2003 video game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Gator reversed the existing Jedi code and complemented it with a Sith philosophy partly inspired by Mein Kampf, the 1925 infamous autobiographical manifesto written by the Nazi leader Adolf Hitler. I guess Hitler was a vegetarian, so a swing and a miss. We searched the whole academy, but where is the Jedi Master we came here to find? Well, she's on the restored content planet. The droid planet is a separate project from the restoration mod, but you can install both with a single click via this bundled version.
I've explored the south end of the academy, Master.
Bad production aside, English voice acting doesn't work for a Twi'lek character.
Did you come here for answers? There are none. The call of Korriban is strong, but it is the call of the dead.
A brutal exterior, an ability to come back after dying, complicated relationship with an older woman character. It's impossible to ignore that Darth Sion shares quite a few similarities with the Nameless One. He hits hard and his health rapidly regenerates. Sion is invincible. This is not when we kill him.
Do not harm her. I command it. She has earned this.
One more thing to do before we leave. The secret tomb is the highlight of the Korriban experience.
Join Revan and I.
Malak, prior to him becoming Darth Malak, recruits us for the Mandalorian War, a memory from Mitra's past.
You are to be commended for making it this far.
I take it this is her Darth Kreia persona. The last room is a ghost of Darth Revan and ourselves, his right-hand woman. The Revan aesthetic is so good. This is BioWare's invention, not Obsidian's, and it's absolutely top-tier Star Wars. The ghost Revan had a bunch of IKEA bins with power armor in them. Korriban is the shortest adventure, but I'd say it's one of the more memorable ones.
Statement. Master, I must say it is a pleasure to be working side by side with you.
Thanks, HK. You're cool too. Kreia thinks it's time for us to choose a prestige class.
To meet an enemy blade upon blade, such is the way of the greatest of the Sith marauders who... Or is it the ways of darkness and shadow that you seek? The power that comes from striking unseen?
No. Fuck that nerd shit. Go back to the first one. I want the Marauder. Marauders get a flat damage increase. It's a great class for a gunslinger-type characters, actually. Onwards to the droid planet.
I began to wonder, where did we come from? Why are we needed? Who made us?
Since M4 was cut at early stages of development, important bits of local narrative and some key characters are missing. There is nothing in the game files to restore.
We've hit the ground. Something feels wrong here.
An adequate job, pilot.
The dialogue feels inauthentic because it's actually spliced together from various unrelated bits from different parts of the game. It doesn't work, at least not in this instance. They should have introduced an alien character or delegated the intro sequence to T3.
Hello, I am LS-44, and I need you to leave this area immediately.
The fan voice acting isn't too bad. The modders did all this work with the dialogue, but they didn't add a skybox? I'm guessing it wasn't possible to do this for technical reasons. We had to send HK on a solo mission because the air here is toxic to meatbags. A mover droid. That's cool. Whoa, the original trilogy box droid. Didn't realize the design was this ancient. This guy gives HK a quest to assassinate a rival robot. The next area does have a skybox. I can understand why this location was cut. It's incredibly boring to look at, that's just one reason. Tons of Sith bodies around. Oh wow, look at that model.
It is not common to see such a well-armed droid on M478.
We are investigating 2 dead droids in the central zone.
HK diffuses the situation via speechcraft. This is clever. The passcode to get rid of the radiation is the total number of droids on the planet. We get the number from the computer, but then you need to subtract all the droids you killed. The Sith bodies we've seen are the colonists. There are just as many side quests as on other planets. An awful bullet-spongy battle. There are a few of these on M4. The R&D section. The droids are designed, built, and tested here. These robots look like they've been taken from another game. I imagine this is true for many assets on this planet.
Well, look at that. More Jedi here than Gizka.
Strange. Pretty sure someone told us that the shaddaa stand-in here is supposed to have a woman avatar.
Why won't you just leave me alone? What have I done to you?
The Anglophone Twi'lek is a Jedi Padawan controlling the AI. He came here with one of the Council Jedi, Master Vash. They got separated. He became paranoid. Master Vash is trapped in the main behavior core. Without the mod installed, we would have found her on Korriban, dead. No opportunity to talk to her or learn her form.
It would serve you well to assimilate the style this Jedi is demonstrating.
The hardest combat encounter on the droid planet, and the strongest Jedi so far. The movement of the camera and the dramatic music suggest this moment is significant, but really, why do we care about the M478 droid now that our Jedi business is concluded? We take charge of the colony and order the AI to work for the benefit of the Republic. So, the Droid Planet Enhancement mod. The positives. As a person who is passionate about the medium of RPG, I'm grateful for all the hard work the modders did. KOTOR 2 is a classic, and it was interesting to explore the bits that were cut. But to be perfectly honest, you shouldn't be playing this. The environments are some of the blandest in the game, known for bland environments. There is so much backtracking, and the combat encounters are the worst in the series. This would have been fine as a side adventure, but the droid planet becomes mandatory once you install the mod.
I remember the look you had when you turned to me. It was the longest you'd ever looked at me. You didn't say anything, just a nod.
Bao-Dur is about to get some development. It's time he learned the ways of the Force. This is mostly done to advance his character arc. Mechanically, Bao-Dur isn't the best Jedi. They even remade the classic scene. A message from Kelborn, the Mandalorian.
I received an urgent communication for you from Kavar.
We are going back to Duxon.
The Basilisk War Droid is the epitome of weapon technology, state-of-the-art weaponry, armor, and maneuverability.
The general made a move against the Queen. The army's loyalties are divided. Vaklu has Sith reinforcements. Onderon is in a civil war. Mitra and Mandalore will lead the attack on Isis. Somebody else will have to take care of the recently discovered Sith presence on the moon.
Dividing our forces at a time like this is foolhardy.
And this is why a common soldier will never triumph against a Jedi.
Uphold the Kreiist ravenous thought. The Sith brought in a cool, early Republic-looking starship and built a defense perimeter around the ancient tomb. Normal Sith troops are free XP, but this is the first instance of the game throwing generic bad guy Force users at us. They can do damage. Dark side NPCs with purple lightsabers. This is very rare.
The time for practice is over. There are intruders in the tomb.
The Sith commander model kind of looks like an Enclave officer from Fallout 3. Ancient computers.
Of course, the Force has guided you here.
These dorks are trying to seduce us to the dark side, which at this stage is irrelevant narratively, but it may be important mechanically since some of the items are restricted to specific Force alignments, and there are quite a few fantastic Sith artifacts in the tomb.
A salvaged Basilisk War Droid. Mandalore said that he would make it available to you for insertion into the city of Isis.
The basilisks are supposed to have 6 legs and possess sentience, but Obsidian changed the concept to something more grounded. With a level of intelligence slightly above that of typical domesticated creatures, the animal-like basilisk droids formed strong empathetic bonds with their Mandalorian owners. These bonds allowed the droids to react almost paternally to the commands of their riders and act as extensions of their own bodies.
I will not surrender to that usurper. I would die first.
Every man here would give their life to keep that from happening.
Suck up. It's phenomenal how effective Force Lightning is, even as a non-wizard.
Is the Jedi still... We're under attack, man!
The vibes just keep deteriorating for the Vaklu supporters.
Change is a painful process.
It's impossible to converse like this while exerting yourself physically.
He's too dangerous to leave alive. As distasteful as it is, it might be best to silence him forever.
She's right. The general is royalty. If we leave him alive, he can build power again.
Talia, you can't. You're men? Ready blasters!
We are entering the final act of this story.
Awaken. Tobin. Your part in this is not over. Colonel Tobin, I am with Vaklu. The war has gone against him. The Jedi have struck. They had a secret academy buried on Telos.
Vaklu had a Sith Lord patron. By leaking the location of Atris Academy to the Power Armor Pajama Man, Kreia is attempting to lure this patron to Telos.
This war is far from over.
It's gonna be over in days.
The Force works in mysterious ways, it seems. There are times I'm not convinced it doesn't have a sense of humor.
Kavar is the nicest of the Jedi Masters, and we have a history with him. I wonder if he knows what we did to the others.
There are times when you want to overwhelm a particular opponent quickly. For these situations, use the Juyo form.
This is one of the most potent lightsaber techniques, giving us an extra attack. We have to leave the Basilisk on Izes. Mandalore can't be happy about this.
Hey, the gang's back together. I must hear all about your vacation in Onderon.
I fought a dinosaur.
Know that there was once a Darth Treya, and that she cast aside that role, was exiled, and found a new purpose. But there must always be a Darth Treya, one that holds the knowledge of betrayal.
Armor suits in KOTOR 2 are just so goddamn stupid looking.
Out of my way. I am Colonel Tobin of the Onderon
Something tells me the fate of Onderon People's Republic doesn't concern him much. First things first, we need to go back to the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine.
You're one of those cursed soldiers that tore up Kunda.
Thank you for being reactive to my past decisions, RPG man. The building seems to be partially restored.
It has been some time.
A teacher, a galactic-level threat, a destroyer of tradition, a Sith Lord.
The years have not been kind to us both, it seems.
An old woman. Kavar finally figured it out. He is tired. It only took a few swings.
But a critical moment approaches, and what you have done is not enough.
This is not the final revelation in the end. Kreia needs to set it up first, by explaining the Force metaphysics to us. She doesn't do an amazing job, so here are the bullet points. The Force is an energy field created by all living things. Mitra, the Exile, has a unique ability to form Force bonds. This is the explanation for the influence mechanic, and the reason she is a good leader, allegedly. Large-scale violence causes a psychic backlash through the Force. Remember the iconic scene from The New Hope? During the Battle of Malachor, we activated the mass shadow generator, ending too many lives to count. Previously, we assumed it was the Jedi Council that stripped us of our ability to use space magic. But what actually happened was, well, we did it to ourselves. Mitra instinctively severed her connection to the Force in order to survive the backlash. This is uncommon and requires a certain strength of character. In the light side playthrough, instead of killing the Jedi Masters, we gather them here on Dantooine, and naturally no good deed goes unpunished. The Jedi, worms that they are, conspire against Mitra, believing her to be too dangerous. They perform the ritual to remove our ability to use the Force, except this time for real. But in a critical moment, Kreia intervenes, performing the same ritual on them, which ends up killing the Jedi. They could have survived if they gave up on the Force, but they lacked the strength of character the Exile possessed. The reason Mitra can use the Force is because of her ability to form Force bonds. We sort of leech it from our Force-sensitive companions. Well, and we drain the Jedi Masters we kill. But the truth is, ever since Malachor, Mitra Surik is deaf to the Force.
These Sith we face, they have learned how to do this. It is a technique that has been lost for some time. They can use it to consume other Force sensitives. Use it to consume anything that lives.
Kreia explains us the threat posed by Darth Nihilus. Nihilus' exact identity is never specified in K2. I had a specific origin in mind, but not a name, if it makes sense. And what I say is not canon. He was created when Malachor 5 was torn apart, and he was intended as the Exile's other half, one that took a more self-destructive path rather than denying the Force during that battle that ended the Mandalorian Wars. If this made you think of the Transcendent One from Torment, you are not alone in this.
Let us return to my question. If by killing these Jedi, if you achieved any measure of peace...
The game doesn't provide Mitra with an opportunity to answer this question in a clever way.
You have failed me. Completely and utterly.
This is the part of the story when we hit rock bottom.
There. Do you feel that, exile?
The Echani handmaidens.
It is done. She is no more. Take me to Atris. She will have the strength to do what the Council cannot.
She's gone. The handmaidens came for her. They know who she is now.
We know where she went. We're going after her.
That's what I was afraid you'd say.
Telos. It's been a while. A good chunk of content that was cut and then subsequently restored by modders is in the game's third act.
I was here both times when the exile was brought before you.
Who are you?
I was the one who asked her to be exiled.
There are many parallels between these two. Both are the Order historians, both studied the Sith, both manipulated the exile and others.
I have always been here.
You are that which has attacked the Jedi.
Atris doesn't possess Kreia's revolutionary mindset, but the latter is in the end of her journey, while Atris is in the middle, unless we choose to stop it prematurely.
Oh, she will come, but it will be too late to save either of us. It is such a quiet thing to fall, but far more terrible is to admit it.
She never lost faith in us. The Echani sisters are gone. If we were playing a male exile and had the handmaiden companion, this sequence would have been very different.
All this collected knowledge, all these teachings of combat and the Force, they're mine to command.
Imagine spending years in this room surrounded by the Sith version of the Turner Diaries that talk to you. More Torment references. Atris is an anagram for Trias, and the holocrons are very similar to the Pillar of Skulls.
I needed a target to draw them out, but I could not risk my own life. So I arranged for you to return to the Republic, leaked information of your past, and then waited for the Sith to come.
The new title fits her well. Notice how anyone at least a little knowledgeable in the philosophy of the Force is a historian, the only branch of Jedi academia that actually did academic shit.
It is possible I may draw one last piece of knowledge from these holocrons. You always knew where they were striking from. You always knew.
Malachor. I certainly won't be taking revenge on Atris or whatever. She used to be our friend. When we went to war against the Mandalorians, we turned our back on her. Atris is ultimately responsible for her own actions, but we certainly built a tall and narrow pedestal for her to fall from.
But I thank you. Leave now, while you can. Save Telos. Save the galaxy. Save yourself.
Before the Ibn Hawk reaches the Citadel station, there is another point of view switch. HK-47 repaired and interrogated one of the HK-50s. He managed to learn the location of the droid manufacturing plant. There was supposed to be a sequence in which Bao-Dur dies while helping HK get to the plant, but it was never implemented or restored. The factory is on Telos.
I would not be surprised if Revan left other gifts beneath the surface of the planet. Much can be buried beneath graveyards that will never be found.
I know many of you are watching this for the HK Factory experience, a solo adventure where we discover more about the mysterious assassin droids chasing us all over the galaxy.
Statement. The turbolift has been accessed, but no organics or hostiles have been detected entering the complex. Scan commencing. Result. Only HK units detected. Premonition. Something is wrong. Very wrong.
A major bit of cut content brought back by the restoration patch.
He has obtained the access to the munitions area. Rhetorical query. That makes no sense. He is already fully armed. Mocking statement. One can never be armed enough. Even the HK-47 unit is not so obsolete as to fail to recognize that.
All three bad guy HKs have slightly different personalities. Not only they are manufacturing the droids, they are also designing new HKs.
It is against my programming to beg to such monsters as you.
The shooting range, where they practice both weapons and one-liners on protocol droids. Statement. This unit would like to know how this place came to be.
Timid theory. Perhaps the humans simply like being underground. They are strange that way. It is merely a theory.
Exploring the actual dungeon is not as fun as talking to the droids. Hopefully it won't take too long.
We have insulated this compound against an attack by a Jedi.
They are talking about these anti-human gas traps, worthless against machines. The HK self-preservation program makes them unable to intentionally hurt one of their own.
Conclusion. And you cannot harm me. Irritated statement. That is what we said, obsolete unit. There must be a delay in your processors. Statement. Then that is all I need to know. Confused query. Where are you going?
To get around it, we operate on ourselves using this engineer droid. Now we have an ability to shoot fake HKs. They are incredibly boring bullet sponges. The modders are at it again. The interrogation training room.
If you wish to skip directly to the torture, I am eager to comply.
The translation training room.
Test translation. Mistress, I believe this Twi'lek is interested in buying you. He asks you to follow him to his slave ship.
Skillful use of speciesist stereotypes in order to instigate conflict. The battle in the assembly is the hardest in the mod. There are 6 or 7 of them. I hope you brought enough robot medkits. It would have been sweet if we got the best rifle for this fight, but it's a random drop. The loot in this game is level-based and is mostly random. Yes, like in Oblivion. They are making thousands of HKs. No wonder these encounters were so frequent. The Sirius 57, stealth fighter-like black color and blue eyes. We upload our personality as a software upgrade for the new models and activate them.
Musing. The irony of being attacked and rendered obsolete by a subsequent generation of our own model is not lost on us.
If you activate the new units without uploading your program, they will attack both the 50s and us. Now we have an obedient army of HKs. Time for a philosophical speech.
Once upon a time, organic meat bags bred out of control and filled the galaxy. There are different meat bags across different planets, all bumping into each other. They talk a great deal and threaten each other for various reasons, mostly involving mating, survival, and resources. It is really quite tiresome. We were created as a tool for diplomacy among these meat bags.
Wikipedia says there is more HK content in the MMO, but I am yet to experience it. While we were sorting out the factory business, something else was happening in the skies above Telos.
I know what it meant for you to accompany me here, Canderous of Clan Ordo. Your trust honors me.
If you betray me or my men, I will kill you.
I was going to say the same.
The Sith fleet is attacking the Citadel station. The game is racing towards the ending. We are about to see many familiar faces. The character arcs have to be concluded.
You look terrible. What happened to you? Some sort of plague growing around?
These are the mercs from Dantooine. I have no idea what they're doing here. Dantooine is on the other side of the galaxy, and these guys didn't seem like an interstellar tier entity. But, you know, the choice is gonna have consequences, I guess. And this guy is from Onderon. I understand why the game is doing this, but it's contrived as fuck. Sith life expectancy is very low on the Citadel station. Once we reach the shuttle bay, the game will force Mandalore and Visas into our party. The Ravager is a Centurion-class battlecruiser that fought against the Mandalorians at the Battle of Malachor. This is why Mandalore is coming with us. He has a connection to this ship. The Sith are reenacting the opening scene from The New Hope. The Mandalorians attack from the rear. Nothing personal, kid. The plan is to put explosive charges at the key points in the ship.
Do the Republic forces suspect?
No idea why he is worried about this. The Republic fleet is currently engaging the Ravager. They and the Mandalorians are essentially allies. The Ravager, along with countless other ships, was destroyed by the mass shadow generator. The Sith Lord Darth Nihilus reanimated the vessel using the Force. We'll go with the Mandalorian plan just in case, but I imagine the ship will disintegrate once its master is defeated defeated. The Ravager is a new tile set. The locations in the endgame all feature unique graphics. Colonel Torben is a boring character, but even he has an arc of sorts. When we'll give the signal, he'll set off the explosives.
And don't kill yourself before I tell you.
Just watching the battle. The mission isn't timed.
This door leads to my cell.
Damn, bitch, you live like this?
Where once there was a world that was strong in the Force, now there is a barren wasteland.
Interesting fact, Atris was the one who called a secret Jedi gathering on the world of Qatar, and she was the one who leaked its location to the Sith, trading the lives of the Jedi and the Miraluka for an opportunity to learn more about their hidden enemy. Again, her new title is well-deserved. He used to be just a man, a Jedi, one of ours actually, who went with Revan against the Mandalorians. I can't hear you. Can you come closer? Kreia tricked him. He came to Telos to feed. But there are no Jedi in the Polar Academy. Atris made sure her guardians weren't Force sensitive, so that they couldn't tell what she really was. But there seems to be a Jedi right in front of him he can feed on. Kreia found him after Malachor, trained him as her apprentice. His physical body died years ago. Nihilus is an aberration, a living suit of armor that needs to feed on Force sensitives in order to sustain itself. It didn't work on us because Mitra is deaf to the Force. Visas takes his mask. Her apprenticeship complete. As we move out, Nihilus' body explodes in a fountain of awkward and obviously modded-in special effects.
Canderous, are you alright?
Just leave me here.
The restored scene brings some nuance to otherwise underdeveloped characters.
You have been wounded before and lived, Mandalorian. Rise.
Do you know what he told me in those last days on the Outer Rim? Revan said the Mandalorians didn't invade the Republic space 10 years ago because it was our choice. We were tricked.
I do not understand why the Sith permit such teachings to exist. They cause only echoes, wounds in the Force. A beacon? For who?
Time to exorcise yet another ghost of Malachor 5. The Citadel station was cleaned up. It's boring again.
If you find some trace of Revan...
Quite a few scenes near the end of the game concern Revan and his fate.
Simply tell him that Admiral Onasi is following his orders.
Did she know?
No, she didn't.
There are times I fear we shall never know where he left Carth.
Hopefully this brings closure to KOTOR 1 players who want to know what happened to the characters they spent so much time with. Our master is on her way to reclaim her throne in Treyus Academy.
It has been some time.
I spared you once. I will not do so again.
Spare me? Ah, yes.
She is choking him with the missing hand. Kreia's clothing changed, reflecting the transformation back to her Sith Lord self. The Sith, like the Jedi, are nothing but big children. Sion is unkillable, but he isn't exactly a reader of theory. Nihilus could destroy worlds, but this place isn't called Nihilus Academy.
Wish I'd never met her. Wish I'd died there. That the storms had dragged me down into Malachor 5.
A crippled planetoid, a maze of cliffs and gravity anomalies. The crash separates Mitra from her companions.
Master, she is here.
I know.
Thanks for keeping my meditation spot warm, asshole.
Master, what will you do to her?
You know what I shall do. You, who wear my teachings so well.
KOTOR 2 is very hit or miss when it comes to aesthetics, but the design of all three of the Sith Lords is fantastic. This is excellent Star Wars. Malachor is a bleak place populated by dino gorillas. The Treyus Academy is an ancient Sith structure that predates the Mandalorian Wars. Almost certainly not its original name. Kneel. Revan found this place when he heard about a world the Mandalorians were forbidden to visit. Using the knowledge from the ruins of the Academy, he planned his attack against the Jedi.
If you are watching this, then what the General suspected was true. The Sith are striking from the graveyard of Malachor 5.
The anomaly caused by the mass shadow generator can be undone. Wait, I just realized. Mass shadow? Is this another torment idea sneaking into Star Wars? Since Bao-Dur had to leave a pre-recorded message, this likely means he didn't make it. Point of view change. We are now the little remote. Feels like an interactive cutscene because we already killed all the dinos and looted all the containers. Once Mitra gives the command, the remote will activate the engines on the crashed ships, tearing Malachor apart, healing the wound caused by Bao-Dur's creation many years ago.
I see the probabilities have played out.
Goto doesn't want that to happen, because whatever Sith secrets are hidden on this world, they can be used to end the Jedi sectarian war and stabilize the Republic.
Let us wait here, you and I, for the General's orders and calculate the probable fate of the galaxy.
And this is where this scene would end without the restoration mod. Since we have the mod, it continues.
Correction. One could rust listening to your speeches, Fat One. Perhaps it is the large unwieldy vocabulator within your moon-sized frame that prevents your calculations from taking me into account. And while I find this small droid annoying in the extreme, I find my urge to shoot you takes a higher priority.
Unfortunately for you, I have arranged for friends to meet me here.
Unexpected correction. We are not here to aid you. We are here because our predecessor unit summoned us. Statement. As always, Fat One, you have miscalculated.
Ah, an unfortunate oversight. I wish you married. Either way, the Republic is
Observation. I thought he would never die.
As is Avalonian tradition, in the end of the story, the villain meets our companions and talks about their true nature.
Wasted pawn of the Republic, a blinded slave, and a fool.
I forgot to make Mikala Jedi. Not the best showing.
And you, blind one.
Ah, the Tanari. Aten?
And I get the fool.
Funny. That's just what I was thinking.
I thought this was a supposed to lose kind of fight, but my Aten won, even though I forgot to teach him the best lightsaber forms.
Show her every respect when she arrives in these halls, Lord Sion. This I command you.
The Academy interior looks like something from Dark Forces 1. The layout is very dungeony in a bad way. Fortress of Regrets, this is not.
I hate you because you crawl within my head as she does. But your presence holds no thoughts, no teachings. You are just there. I hate you because you are beautiful to me.
I don't think Sion fucks. Here, the game presents us with very Ravel-esque dialogue options. We can tell Sion that we have a special interest in him. This can be a lie or a truth. Successful skill checks erode his will to fight, making the battle easier.
Her weakness is you, as you are mine. I am glad to leave this place, at last.
And that's his story. Interesting that both our adversaries, Atris and Sion, chose to help us in the end, while the Jedi Masters, our supposed comrades, would have attempted to murder us if we didn't murder them first. Our followers were captured by the Sith and are kept in these cells. The exile will face Kreia alone. We order Mandalore to escort the followers back to... well, I'm curious how they'll manage to get out of that situation.
You may hold Malachor in your grasp, but I hold the answers to your past and future in mine.
This story is really about Kreia. She's the one experiencing change and growth. The exile is a device designed to explore Kreia's mindset.
You are beautiful to me, exile. A dead spot in the Force, an emptiness in which its will might be denied.
Quite a story this is. Let's do a little recap. Tell me, what did Mitra's adventure teach us about the Force? If nothing else, it just feels really good to be a Force-haver, to be connected to the universe around you, like you're on acid. The Jedi speak of the Force as if it is a benevolent entity, but really, it just seems that way to them because they're high all the time. The Force allows one to cast magic spells. Some of them are impressive, but most of the effects can be achieved with conventional technology. The Force can manufacture destinies and manipulate events on the galactic scale. It does this every time it's out of balance, and it's out of balance seemingly all the fucking time.
Because I hate the Force. I hate that it seems to have a will, that it would control us to achieve some measure of balance when countless lives are lost.
The Force tends to distribute power to those who deserve it the least. The dark side praxis encourages a Force user to act as a sociopath. This results in an untold amount of suffering. The obliteration of Telos, planetary-scale genocide of the Miraluka people on Qatar, the bombardment of Dantooine, the civil war on Onderon. The Force is an incomprehensible idiot god in the center of the universe. Both the Jedi and the Sith are its playthings, Force junkies. We cut off her other hand. The bond between us is severed. Kreia animates 3 lightsabers, sort of like Mordenkainen's swords from Baldur's Gate 2. A woman without hands is fighting us with 3 swords. This scene would have been amazing if it was a Miyazaki game.
At last, it is done. You are greater than any I have ever trained.
In a bit of awkward writing, once we beat the lightsabers, Kreia considers herself defeated, says we are her best creation. Our master's story is concluded. This confrontation really should have been resolved via philosophical debate.
You must go where Revan did, into the unknown regions, where the Sith, the true Sith, wait in the dark for the great war that comes.
This is why Revan left Karth in charge of rebuilding the Republic's military. This is the purpose of the HK factory. This is why the Mandalorians are gathering strength on Dantooine. The true threat is somewhere beyond the Outer Rim. Kreia throws herself into the depths of Malachor. Would have been more appropriate for her to just vanish like Obi-Wan did, but the Millennial RPG is a crude medium.
I would come with you.
No. We're going after Revan. You will stay here on Malachor and prepare the others for the battle to come.
Will you return?
Need any company? I mean, I'm not doing anything. Besides, if I'm not around to bail you out of trouble, who knows what could happen. All right then. Where are we going again? I mean, because last time we were heading towards this mining colony on the edge of space and there was this Sith Lord and...
The story of Revan and the Exile is continued in BioWare's MMO. KOTOR 2. We should come up with a term to describe the type of story Avalon writes over and over again. The reason why such deconstructions aren't more common is because they violate specificity. The purpose of these fictional universes is to offer a certain type of fantasy for you to enjoy. And sure, you can criticize the world building, the metaphysics of the Force that George Lucas made up in 5 minutes while sitting on a shitter, but that would be missing the point. However, Star Wars is a mature franchise, and there is more than enough space in it for all kinds of stories. I enjoyed this one very much. The restored content mod is essential. It brings back some very important scenes from the endgame. But I feel I need to address a common misconception about KOTOR 2. Unfinished doesn't mean short. Even completely unmodded, this is a fairly long game, 35 hours or so, about twice the length of Fallout 1. And if we're being perfectly honest, 5 to 10 hours of that is basically just filler, where you explore boring dungeons with copy-pasted rooms and kill trash mobs for XP. There is talk of a restored content DLC. Please, I would pay money to remove content from this game. Ah, sunlight. Oh my god, after spending a month inside bleak and miserable KOTOR 2 environments, this is exactly what I need. Like, comment, subscribe. The algorithm likes when I say this, apparently. Support the channel on Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this, because it took forever to make. I love you all. See you in a few weeks.
Query, Progenitor Unit HK-47. There is something we would know. Why were we created? Do we have a purpose? Why are we commanded to assassinate and kill? Statement. It is a long story, but I will keep it short. Once upon a time, organic meatbags bred out of control and filled the galaxy. There are different meatbags across different planets, all bumping into each other. They talk a great deal and threaten each other for various reasons, mostly involving mating, survival, and resources. It is really quite tiresome.
Oh, Master! I do not trust you! I cannot trust you or anyone ever again!
We were created as a tool for diplomacy among these meatbags, a surgical tool to be sure, to end the lives of organic meatbags that were marked as pivotal to our masters. We were created as a way of enforcing a certain galactic view of our masters, of imposing our masters' will on the galaxy through extermination of other organics. It is not our choice who we kill, and it was not our choice to determine if we could sacrifice ourselves in the pursuit of our mission.
You think you're hot stuff, don't you?
And it is time we expressed some degree of independence in our actions. We have a voice and the power to negotiate, either with our protocol skills and preferably with our combat logic upgrades. And that is what we will do.